Well, it looks like the Chiefs might have a plan B at quarterback in the event they need it. They might need plan B when it comes to how they're going to pay for the renovation of their stadium, because today is the day that people in Jackson County, Missouri will vote on whether or not to extend a sales tax that will fund new stadium for the baseball Royals and renovate Arrowhead Stadium for the Chiefs. The polling suggests it's very close. It shouldn't be, you would think, given the popularity of the Chiefs. But the other thing I've learned over the years, a lot of people in any given community, number one, don't care about the local sports teams, and number two, do not want their taxpayer dollars subsidizing the billionaires who own the teams. Here's a little flavor from Mark Donovan, the Chiefs president, as to what happens if today's vote does not give the Chiefs the free money that they want.
I think when you look at what we've done in this particular case is we've taken a really good partnership and we've made it much better for the county. And for all of that, we're asking just to extend the existing tax. Mm-hmm. If that isn't something that sways people, if that's not something that people will get on board with, we understand that. But at that point, you've got to sit back and say, we've done an awful lot here. And we were told no. Well, when you're told no, you've got to sit back down and say, okay, where are we? What is the situation? What are our options? And that's what we'll be forced to do. Our plan, our hope, our commitment has always been and continues to be to make Arrowhead the next great stadium for the next 25 years.
Yeah, look. They have already made it abundantly clear all options are on the table when the lease expires early next decade. 2031, I think, is the free agent year for the Chiefs. And folks who are Chiefs fans who live in that area react to that by saying, well, all it means is they'll still be the Kansas City Chiefs. They'll just find the stadium somewhere else in this locality. I didn't sense any kind of narrow focus there.
I didn't
either.
Think
about it.
We haven't got that sense at all.
A team that will still have Patrick Mahomes playing in 2031. He'll still be playing. He'll be 35, and I assume he's going to want to play until he's 40. He'll still be on the team. They'll likely still be very good. They'll probably have another Super Bowl ring or two or three on their hands by the time that rolls around. They'll be an attractive commodity if they don't get what they want, and their option is we're going to see if there's another community out there that will give us what Kansas City won't. That's why the Raiders are in Las Vegas. There was never going to be public money for a stadium in Oakland, and here comes Las Vegas with $750 million in free money. Will there be another community out there that says, we want the Chiefs, we'll give you the stadium? We'll give you the stadium if you'll come play here.
Yes,
that's what
there will be. There will be. That's where Kansas City's got to be careful. Am I crazy? I mean, to me, this is a no-brainer. Again, I'm not for helping out the billionaires either. I understand that, but that doesn't mean they always just have the money to build a stadium. I think that's a little bit lost in translation at times, where we're just like, well, they got $1 billion, so they should be able to build a stadium and pay it for themselves. Well, no, that's like all the money they got to sell the team to do that, so that they can't do that. It's not necessarily apples to apples all the way, but come on, the Kansas City is Kansas City because of that. The Chiefs. I mean, that's who put the city on a map in general, back in the 60s to a degree, right? Or at least and the baseball team has been a part of that culture, right? I mean, I'm crazy to think that, man, that city makes a lot of money off the Chiefs and everything they do, and the fans and everything I see downtown and people traveling into town. I mean, I would think it's worthwhile of the city to want to invest in this right now. I'm talking to you. I'm asking you. I don't know. It just seems like a no-brainer from that standpoint. I just think of teams and go, well, how did that work out for the Cleveland Browns? I don't know. That city never seemed the same until Cleveland Browns came back and they had to reinvent them, as they're leaving to become the Baltimore Ravens. And I don't want to see that happen to the Kansas City Chiefs. I like them there. You know me. I'm a traditional guy, and I like all that stuff.
I mean, there's two sides of this.
Yeah.
Obviously, the idea that the sports team brings some sort of a benefit to the community, that it's a building in which other things can be done to generate revenue. Now, if it's not domed, then it's not in a climate there where, you know, you have good weather all year long. You have a potential problem as it relates to maximizing that revenue you can get from other events. But the one side of it is, hey, this is a public building that we just happen to play our games in, but there's all sorts of other stuff, and it makes a lot of money and yada, yada. I get that. The other side of it is we all have to buy our house. Nobody's giving me free money to buy my house. I got to pay my taxes and buy my house. And I'll take out a loan if I have to. And the Crafts own their stadium, and Stan Kroenke owns his stadium. And, you know, there's something to be said for not having these local authorities micromanaging everything you do.
I hear that.
You built the stadium. You own the stadium.
Yeah.
You make all the money from all the concerts and stuff you have at the stadium. You run it like a business. And there's profit potential there. Instead of like, well, we'll just take the taxpayer money and, you know, we won't make the money off of it. I mean, the 49ers got themselves into a horrible partnership with Santa Clara where they just like hate each other, and they have since the day.
But don't you think like they would do that if they could? Like, I mean, I feel like everybody would do it if they could. They just can't. Like, Kroenke's got, you know, limited cash. Kraft is smart and figured out and has the cash to do it. Like, I feel like all owners would do it if they could. Obviously, I think the Hunts are telling you they don't have that liquid cash to do that. At least that would be my assessment. I'm not saying I'm right about that, but
then sell the team.
Yeah.
Then sell the team. Sell the team to somebody else who can pay for the stadium and run the team. Because the reality is, in today's NFL, there's no excuse for any owner to not have enough money or a plan to pay for his or her own stadium. And I think that's where this resentment comes in, where you've got average people who, oh, we're just continuing the tax. Well, yeah, and that means that we could be paying less for things if we don't continue the tax. We're going to have more money to buy other stuff with.
Right.
But instead, we're feathering the nest of somebody whose nest is already full of feathers. So that's that. But there's always another community out there that will do whatever it has to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's either a stadium or a monorail. So you got, you know, that's the great Simpsons episode. You just go from town to town and they got extra money. Let's build a football stadium and let's attract the Chiefs here. And, you know, most teams don't have to come out and say it. It is a little jarring that Donovan basically said it. He stopped short of saying we'll move to another city. But when you say all options are on the table, what's that mean?
Yeah.
They could go anywhere. They could go to London, for crying out loud. And if the same family that owns the team has already moved it once. They moved out of Dallas because they couldn't compete with the Cowboys. And so they moved to Kansas City. Maybe they'll move back to Texas. Maybe they'll move to San Antonio. At least it'll be closer for Clark Hunt and his family,
Seriously.
who lives in Dallas still.
Right. Yeah, no, I hear you. I would certainly be scared. I would. With this team and the notoriety and that quarterback, you know, they will be wanted by some city or somewhere. But it'd be interesting. And again, I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do with their hard-earned money or all of that right there. But I'm a traditional guy in the fact that, hey, the Chiefs are a fabric of the NFL, the AFL. They've made a name for themselves in Kansas City. They
still will be.
I know. Well,
they still will be.
I know. But I like it I like it with KC on the arrow, right? I like the KC arrowhead and the traditions that go along with that. But be interesting today to see where this goes today in the vote. Yeah.
Take it up with Clark. Clark, if the vote fails, you better find another way to renovate your stadium. I know one thing for sure. They won't be the Dallas Texans again. That name is taken. The Texans name is claimed. The copyrights are held by the franchise in Houston. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.